There everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is the long-awaited double special heroes prediction because I have taken a very long time to do this. Stuff has just kind of been popping up, you know, and more precedented stuff takes precedence, I guess. We will have either tomorrow or Wednesday a kind of quickie Hero Fest type summon thing, basically on tickets. And I'll dive into that whole mess then. But let's keep this video pure at least, okay? Let's just talk about double special. So if you didn't know, every other month we get double special heroes. And it's basically a way for IS to put special units back into the pool more frequently than once a year on their normal seasonal banners. That's basically it. This kind of evolved from there wasn't any space on legendary and mythic banners, and so here you are. Now we have these. I've lined up the last three. I like to do that before I give my prediction to kind of help lay out who I think is likely going to be on it and why, because past behavior affects future actions. I'm sure there's like a psychology lesson in there somewhere. But I'm not here to diagnose IS. I'm just here to give my best impression, and hopefully I'm close to being right to give you guys a better idea as to how to budget your orbs properly. And right now we do have a lot, and there's a lot of bait happening, right? So there's Hero Fest, that's coming. There's Pirates. I don't even know why that exists, but I love it. There's the Choose Your Legends coming later this month. This is also coming later this month. We've got a new legendary hero right around the corner. There's just so much happening. I thought that, you know, the summer months are typically pretty bad because you've got double special popping up with that. You've got multiple special units happening at once. 3 houses summer happened, and I'm sure people just lost their minds about that. Particularly for me, earlier, I was like, oh, we have Fallen Ike and Bride Micaiah and Bride Obro. And I personally have been hit very hard this year. And so I'm glad to see that hopefully 2020 is a little less spastic in terms of units that Brian wants. So anyway, all that aside, February, I won't go through every single unit, but we can kind of summarize for the most part. February had Summer, Dance, and then Bride, but also Halloween. And so what happened here was we had 4 seasonal representations, basically. Bride, Summer, Dance, Halloween. And those were kind of just transitioning into what the next banner would be. So we had an old Halloween unit on the current banner for February to tell us that, hey, the next seasonal category that's getting introduced is this year's Halloween. And that's exactly what happened. So we had more Dance in April, then we had this year's Halloween, more Dance, Halloween, more Dance, Halloween, and then we had some winter units, which shouldn't be too surprising, I don't think, for you. The same thing happened with February, but on a slightly larger scale for April. So we had last year winter units pop up to tell us that, hey, in June, you're probably going to have winter units from this year introduced. And that is what happened. And they happen kind of concurrently. I don't know if you've noticed. But for example, in June, we also had this year's New Year's pop in as well. Which last time we did this video, we got everybody right except Conrad. And I kind of thought maybe it could be Conrad. I guessed that it would be New Year's Anna, and you would just have this lineup of just winter and New Year's. That kind of tells us that IS doesn't want to do that. Instead, what they want to do is have multiple categories, not just 2. Otherwise, it would be kind of boring. Because if you look ahead, as I have, then you kind of know, aside from colorless, everybody fills in pretty appropriately. So these banners would basically just be the next 2 special categories in a banner. And that's boring, I guess. I don't know. But IS doesn't want to do that, so they want to branch categories. So they did introduce Valentine's as well. But you notice in April, we only had Winter pop up. So they were acting as filler, but also the next in that order would have been Winter, then New Year's, then Valentine's. So, of course, we had Old Winter pop into April for the coming of June. So June, like I said, we had everybody from Winter, almost everybody from New Year's, and then Valentine's Conrad. So this month is going to be another little kind of misnomer. So as these have evolved, we've only had a handful of these banners so far. They're still kind of relatively new. They're coming up on a year old, actually, so we've only had about 5 or 6 of these. This is going to be a month where we have an intersection of possibly 2 duo units. So back in April, I wasn't necessarily sure if IS was going to put duo units on these banners. Turns out they definitely are. And then I wasn't sure in June, well, maybe they're going to put 4-star units on there as 5-star exclusives. And they did. Conrad showed up. We also didn't really know how many, special categories were going to be on the banner. And we found out that they don't want just 2. They want at least 3, up to 4. So we want to stay with our prediction. A couple of things. Within 3 to 4 different special categories. We know that in order of progression, the next banner that we don't have on the current is going to include an old seasonal from last year's upcoming banner, similar to how we had Winter Erica to introduce, Winter Marth. And they will include duos. They will include 4 stars that were previously on banners that are now going to be 5 stars. So there you go. Easy peasy. That means we're going to run into a slight pickle this time and the next time, for the most part, because we don't have that many colorless units that are special in the next series of progressions. So it's gonna get a little hairy, but I will still do my best. However, what's not difficult to predict? New Year's Anna. She's the last unit that we haven't had from the New Year banner show up. There is a red slot. She is taking it. She is on this banner. If you want New Year's Anna, save some orbs, because there's no way that she is not on this banner unless they just decide to skip her for no reason whatsoever, and I do not think that they would do that. Next. Spring Eden. And I know that we're kind of jumping the gun here because there's not even Valentine's. Well, guess what? Conrad was already happening. So this banner so far is likely to include New Year's, Valentine's, and Spring. Good stuff. Eden is going to be a duo unit. That is worrisome, and I will tell you why. We also have a little someone named, who are you? Who even is this? Rudolph? Rudolph, that's your name. I remember Rudolph. This is Rudolph. He has a son, and we'll talk about him in a moment and why that's troublesome for Eden. Rudolph is next up in the blue. It is Valentine's. He is here. I do not have him, so there's that. I don't know if I'll get him, because the other option for blue is likely going to be Narcian. Narcian is also sharing a color with Est, but given what I'm about to talk about, I don't think we're going to see Est this time around. I think what they'll likely do is put in Narcian, who is the available 4-star instead, because I think we're getting Valentine's Alm as well, or at least we should. And this is troublesome again for Eden because he's a duo, or she. Celica also counts. I count them both equally. I don't know if IS is going to put 2 duo units on a banner. If they do, great. This prediction doesn't change. If they don't, I would likely assume that Eden would get replaced, again, because of order progression. So Valentine's would always come first. Spring would not. There's no world in which, well, maybe there is a world in which, but this world at least, Valentine's always comes before Spring Banner. So Alm would get first dibs. I don't know how that necessarily impacts the red pool. But I don't know. If I had to take a guess, I would say that this is how it's going to stand. I think we're likely getting 2 duo units on this banner. And I think they're splitting them up. Fear. She is here. I know that her name is probably pronounced Fur. I'm not going to call her that. I will never call her that. That's a really dumb name. And I like Fear. I don't want to think of her as having a dumb name. So I'm not going to do that. But she's also there in green. So, yay, that's exciting. So if you notice, we've got New Year's, we've got Springs, we've got Valentine's. We have the 3. We have our 3 categories perfected. Great. That just leaves Faye for Valentine's. And now we've actually got our Valentine's units all locked in. Everything is great. We've got 3 Spring units. Slight problem, though, because in order of progression, again, the next up unit is going to be Bride Micaiah in Colorless. And that ain't gonna fly. Because then we would have 3 duo units, and that would just be insanity. So what I think they're likely going to do instead is they're going to pop the... they're going to do that thing where they choose a unit from last year's banner to introduce the incoming banner for next month, and that would be Brides, of course, and that would be Fjorm. Bride Fjorm is likely going to show up on this banner, introducing that Brides will be on the October banner, and that's when we get Bride Micaiah as well. So that's kind of what I think our next banner is going to look like. So to recap quickly, New Year Anna, Valentine Rudolph, Alm, and Faye. Then we've got Spring Eden. Probably not Est, probably Narcian. Spring Narcian, Spring Fear, and we've also got Bride Fjorm from 2019. So that is who I think we are likely going to see on this month's double special banner. I'm feeling pretty confident. Like I said, the only thing I'm not really 100% sure on is going to be the double duo units. But I mean, red is a very good bang for buck, as is green. Colorless, blue. But red and green are very, very strong in terms of both colors. Not so much the others. Just because Narcian, if you wanted Narcian, you had a good chance to get him at a 4-star. And, I mean, Bride Fjorm's been around a little while. Unless you're very new, in which case, congratulations. Fjorm is here. You can get her if you want. She's still a very good healer. One of the better ones, honestly. So, that's my prediction for Double Special. Again, sorry that this video took so long. There's just not been a lot of time to get things out lately. There's been a lot of stuffs going on. But that is it for me right now. In the comments, let me know, who do you want to see on this Double Special banner that will probably be happening in 2 weeks. I would guess the 17th. Just my assumption. Another prediction, a bold prediction, if you will. Hey, subscribe to the channel, please. We're getting really close. I promised a barracks tour at 8K. I'm still committed to that. So if that's something that you want to see, let's get there. Go ahead and subscribe. And maybe if we try really hard, we can hit 10K by the end of the year. But I doubt it. I don't think that'll happen. Maybe. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know who you want to see on this month's Double Special banner. And until then, I will catch you next time.